You're watching the #1 college television station in the state of West Virginia, BCTV, Bethany College Television, the home of the Bison.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bison Roundup. I am Carlo Guadagnino. Alongside me is A.J. Brettell, whose Pitt Panthers lost, unfortunately, this week to Miami on Black Friday. Valiant comeback, but they struggled.
I just want to say, I went 0 for 1 for the weekend, but at least I didn't go 0 for 2. Your Nittany Lions blew it. Your Florida Gators blew it. I mean, I'll take one loss over 2.
You know, sometimes you just got to accept the L. You just got to, I knew it was coming.
Hey.
But it's been a while since we've been here.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I can't be too upset with Michigan State, and neither can you because, hey.
No. I got that win against the Buckeyes, and that makes me really happy, and it makes Tyler Castle very upset, and that makes me even more happy because he's from Ohio.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Ohio too, but,
Nah,
can't
you
be
don't count.
fan.
You're a Pitt fan.
Yeah,
you
true.
don't count as an Ohio fan.
All right, let's get into it.
First things first, let's talk about men's basketball. And you have some, they're what, 2-2 right now?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about last time about their big win over Penn State, Du Bois, and since then they lost 2 games to Marietta and Carnegie Mellon. But then they did have a big victory over Muskingum, 81-73, which put them back to even, 500. Damian Brewster led the Bison with 20 points, and Kalik Jones finished with 19 points. They actually had 7 players tallying at least 4 points, and they had 4 players do double digits. And Alan Harper led with 13 off the bench. But the point I want to get to before we get any further is we talked last time about how they're ball hawks. They get steals, they get turnovers. They caused 18 turnovers and 9 steals.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Coach Hager wants to do. That's his game plan is he's going to go out and they're going to be the best conditioned defensive team that we probably are going to see here at Bethany, and at least in my time. And they were ball hawks, but it wasn't to this level. Kalik Jones and Damian Brewster, obviously 2 veterans who, new coach, still just leading the way. For a lot of the young guys, still a very young team. Who do they have next on the schedule?
Next they have Teal. They actually play Teal Saturday at 4 o'clock here at Bethany College.
And Teal's normally a struggle for Bethany, so that'll be a good game. That'll be a good test for Coach Hager. First game in the conference, and that will be broadcasted live. I believe that's you and Ian covering that game. And
I'll be there.
If Eric's correct, he told me earlier we're doing a game day for that. So 1:30. That is
Will
the
you be
start
there?
of that. I assume I'd be there.
I hope to see you there.
We'll find out, I guess, tonight at this meeting we have. But next, we're going to talk about, where do you see the men kind of right now, early on in the season?
Early in the season, it's hard mostly to judge a lot of teams, especially us, because with the new coach, it's kind of hard to get a grasp on which direction we want to go. But, I mean, if you look here at the scores, I mean, they've been close almost every game, and Marietta was ranked when they played them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to only lose 78-65 to a ranked team, not bad. You can tell the defense, I mean, it's there. They're keeping us into they're holding the opponents, to around 68, 70 points. I mean, that's not great, but, it's still early. There's room for
progression.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously we said that Penn State Du Bois game should not have, they should not have given up 67 points. And,
but
put my foot in my mouth because they go down. Penn State Du Bois goes down and beats
Washington and Jefferson.
Beats them.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said when we talked last time, in this conference, anything can happen. I mean, you still have your Thomas More, which, will be a struggle. But I think if the Bison can, get a big win Saturday against Teal to move to 3-2, I think that a little bit of momentum can go a long way. I mean, 2 in a row. I think maybe they can kind of get a full head of steam going forward and hopefully roll through the next few games.
Well, you also have to think the scariest team in this conference isn't even Thomas More. It's St. Vincent, who really they didn't lose anybody last year. It's a very experienced team, and when you go up to St. Vincent, it's a different. Even for the football game, It was a different atmosphere. It's a different atmosphere when you go to that college and you play. Their fans take things very seriously. I'm not saying that we don't.
Yeah.
But
they really get rowdy.
They're kind of the assists when it goes. They're probably one of those teams. Them and I would say Waynesburg. Obviously, when we go there, and then they come here. That's a big game. But St. Vincent's the team that I assume is going to win the conference right now. I figure Bethany. I'm gonna go late season run. You know, I think it's too early, and we're not. This is our last show for the semester, so we're not going to talk about it. That's why I want to kind of give it a prediction. But I see Bethany going three, finishing the third in the conference.
Is it top 4 make playoffs? Make conference playoffs?
I think it's top 6.
Top 6.
Make playoffs.
I mean, I definitely could see us making playoffs. I mean, I don't think that'll be a problem. But as far as seeding goes, I could see us getting, a 3-4 seed. I mean, that's.
I generally think that Bethany's still one of the top 3 teams in the conference.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no difference from, other than, I mean, obviously you don't have Delonte Joyce anymore. But you have Antonio Rudolph, who's one heck of a player.
Yeah, Antonio Rudolph actually led the team with 10 rebounds that last game against Muskingum. Like you said, with these veterans that they do have, even though they have a new coach, you know, they've been playing together for a little bit. So I think the chemistry is there. And I think at this point, as long as this new coach can kind of just solidify things and keep the discipline there, you know, try to keep people out of foul trouble and keep that defensive pressure real high. I haven't got to see them play yet, but I mean, if their defense, if they're coming up with these kind of numbers with turnovers and steals and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a full court press or half court trap or something.
Well, you got to wonder, are we going to see Liam Davis progress? You know, he's a big guy. He's a tree.
Yes.
And you got to hope that his progression in Coach Hager's offense and defense can really get him more time and become more dominant on the court.
Yes. I mean, like you said, it is so early, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But as right now, I mean, these are all just projections, and we can kind of hope that we're right and, you know, they do get a late season run, or maybe even they just start their run right now. And I think with a little bit of confidence.
Speed. A lot of speed on this team.
Oh,
so
yes.
it's going to be, teams aren't gonna out effort us.
I think if I had to say one weakness of ours, I think that against a couple of these teams that have these big burly guys down low, I think we could get beat in the paint pretty bad.
Unless you can have, you know, Brewster can come up.
Yes.
And in games he has shown that he can. He's a big guy.
Yeah, he can muscle with the best.
Strong guy. And again, you got to hope that Liam just.
Yes.
You got to hope that he finds a presence down there. So let's move on.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the women. On the women's side, obviously, they are, when we last talked, they were 1-0 and going to play against, I don't know why I clicked on that. But they were going to play Marietta as well, I believe. Was it Marietta or Hope?
Yeah. It was Marietta next.
And they lost as well. And they won and then lost to Hope College and is it Kenyon? I think it is. Kenyon, I think is how you pronounce it. It's Kenyon.
Kenyon?
Kenyon. That would help if you would have given me a pronunciation. Yep, good for that. All right, well, they lost. Good for them. Well, they lost to both of those. Hope was a ranked team. They're the number 11 team in the country, and you know it's not the first ranked team. Well, it is the first ranked team in the Bethany will see, but it won't be the last. Obviously, you got to play the beast, Thomas More with Sydney Moss, and they also have a point guard that just got named Player of the Week this week for the PAC. Yeah,
Thomas More always finds a way to bring in girls that can really play ball.
Your players to watch for the girls are going to be obviously Kelsey Doherty. You're going to have Haley Olinka, who are both leading the team. I believe Kelsey has 14. She's averaging about 14.5, and Haley's right around 11. So you're getting a lot of production out of your big and your point guard. You're gonna watch Sammy Schott, obviously. Yeah. You know she's been a force. Gab Naples, Lexi Naples being running, and Michaela Tipton, who have been kind of the cornerstones to the turnaround of this program. They're another team to watch in the conference. I think that they're a sleeper. Yeah.
I think the women. I think they can do well. You know, like you said, kind of rough start to the season. Having to play a ranked team and stuff, kind of like the men. Not coming up with the result they wanted. But like you said, with a couple of these players that have kind of turned it around, I think that they have to be vital. I think the bench will have to be huge for the women's team. I think that these 6th, 7th people they put into the game, I think they need to put up 7, 8 points a game to truly be challenge a couple of these teams.
And I was wrong on the last team. It was Ohio Wesleyan that they got the win against.
Oh.
But we are at that point where it's time to kind of wrap up this segment. We're going to move on, and our next segment is going to be kind of, I think, the segment that we're both waiting for.
Yes, it'll be fun.
It's a little PTI. We showed it a little bit in the last show, and now we're going to do a whole segment of it. But we'll be right back after a couple words, I guess. Messages, something.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills?
Check.
Driver's license?
Check.
And a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation. You're resigning? Why? You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. Oh, I forgot. I'll do better. Please don't quit on me.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our segment of PTI. We tried it out last episode, and now we're going to do a more professional battle. It's going to be college football. We're going to talk Kobe. We're going to talk NFL guys. We're going to talk 96 Bulls versus Golden State. And we're going to talk about the Manziel Penton little battle that's going on. Starting right off the bat, college football playoffs. What do you think of the top four right now?
I like it because Ohio State's not in it, plain and simple. But no, honestly, if you want me to get into it, I think Clemson, of course Clemson clearly deserve to be in there. Undefeated. They've rolled through everyone. Bama, you don't count Bama out. As long as they beat your little Gators in the SEC championship, I don't think they have any problem getting in. Iowa or Michigan State will get in. And then you have Oklahoma, who's already in.
All right. Oklahoma is the only champion currently right now, which is the most messed up system in the world because they get to watch these top three teams battle.
Yeah.
One, two, or three of them could all leave.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's in. Oklahoma could be number one after next week.
Yes.
It's a pretty good place to be in.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Who has Clemson played that makes them the number one team in the country? They have a Heisman candidate quarterback, but who have they played?
They've beat a couple teams. Their conference isn't that big of a joke.
Pitt's in that conference.
Yeah, but Pitt's on the other side.
They're going to play North Carolina.
Yeah.
And North Carolina right now is favored to win.
Yeah, North Carolina's been on absolute fire lately.
North Carolina's number 8 in the country.
Yes.
You're going to tell me
Yeah, they beat Florida State.
Clemson beat Florida State?
Yeah.
Florida State's number 10.
Okay.
Where were they ranked when they beat them?
I can find it. But nonetheless, I mean, let's be serious.
Alabama,
they're still 12-0.
But here's the thing: if you're going to go that way, then why isn't Iowa and Clemson number 1 and 2?
Because Big Ten's weaker than the ACC.
Oh, you're crazy. Next topic, obviously, let's talk about Kobe.
Yes.
Give him the praise. His career will be over at the end of this season, and for Kobe fans, that's a little hard.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's hard to watch him play right now.
Yes, he isn't exactly playing all that great, but you know what? I mean, to take positives out of it, at least we were alive to get to see him in his prime and stuff. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, my favorite memory, hands down, the 81-point game.
See, now that's the Kobe that I didn't like. That's the old number 8 that
that's when he had
carried
swagger.
the team. Only was about Kobe though.
Yeah.
That's around the time of the alleged incidents with him. But all that being said, and I love Kobe. I think Kobe is kind of the new age. He was the first next Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Not
now you have
comparable.
many people like LeBron.
You have LeBron and you have
Steph
Steph and all these guys, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But my problem is ESPN basically, you'd thought Kobe died the way they were. You'd have thought he just passed away. Like, he's done. That's it. Put him in the ground. They showed the same 10 clips.
Yeah.
They showed his poem. They showed, it was a little bit, I think it was a little bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where they're coming from because, I mean, if you, just ESPN today, they like to, if they have an inch, they'll take a mile. I mean, you've seen them do this with
mile.
LeBron. You've seen them do this with Steph Curry.
Forrest Gump ran a mile. What are you? This story's still running coast to coast.
I just think that ESPN, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from them.
I agree, but at what point, when Michael retired, there was no, he got his goodbyes at the respected arenas, and that was it. You know what I mean? It wasn't, we didn't see the top 10 highlights of Michael Jordan in his whole career. Moving on. You soccer players claim to be football players. You kick a football around. Your only job at practice is to kick the ball. It's your only job. And I feel like you got moved back a couple yards here in the NFL, and NFL kickers are starting to get exposed.
Yeah, it's not just all previous soccer players. Yes, a lot of them, but
I believe the style is called soccer style kicking.
Listen, I mean, it was a change. It might have messed them up a little bit. I mean, I've never kicked, so I don't know what goes into it.
Weren't you saying earlier, though, to sign you up?
Yeah, I mean, if you still want to sign me up, if anyone ever watches this, NFL Scouts, I'm available.
I'm available.
I'm available. Give me a shot. Call me.
But what's up with the kickers? Is it, you think, wind or just?
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of missed PATs, and there are a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, a couple of them might be weather related. I mean, a couple of games, it's very windy and stuff, especially around this time. But a lot of it, I mean, I didn't think moving it back a couple yards would make all the difference.
Didn't think it would make a difference at all.
But
I
mean,
didn't.
this is something that I still think they should hit day in and day out as professionals. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you on this one. I do think it's a bit ridiculous.
Well, at what point do you move it? You know what I mean? You have it in the NFL, it's back, but in college, it's still the same. And in high school, it's still the same. Pop Warner is still the same. When do you start teaching these kids to start kicking an extra point from, what, the 25?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is, like, you do have a point here as far as when do you teach them, I understand. I mean, if you're used to, if you're a top scout college kicker, you're hitting that same old school PAT, now that it's old school. But,
yeah.
And then you go to the NFL and it's completely different. I mean, yeah, I guess you have your off season and stuff. As soon as your college season ends, you can go start practicing and stuff. But I do agree with you. If you're going to change it one way, you might as well change it all the way. But now, do you change it in college after you see how treacherous it's been for NFL kickers?
Moving on in the NFL, backup NFL quarterback seems to be the trend this year for the for teams. You got the 75-year-old Matt Hasselbeck, who's 4-0 somehow.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler for the Broncos, 2-0.
Just beat the reigning Super Bowl champs and the former undefeated Patriots. You have
Kirk Cousins is technically still quarterback because RG3
Ben Roethlisberger came off and had one of his best games as a backup. So
yeah, it's something about the backups, man.
Well, I think Well, for Hasselbeck has a lot of talent around him, and obviously Andrew Luck, there was something going on. There was physically some type of problem going on with him. Do I think Matt Hasselbeck is the savior of Indianapolis? Absolutely not. I think he's the guy. He's the Tommy Maddox. He can get the job done for a year, and then age, age knocks on the door. It's ugly.
I mean, I think coming from, if I had to try to get inside the mind of a backup quarterback, I think that if you're a backup quarterback and you get a chance to start, I think you feel a lot less pressured than a starting quarterback would, because it's like if worse comes to worse, you are already the backup. When the starter comes back, you're done. But it kind of pumps you up at the same time, because you can have the performance of a lifetime and you might be able to keep your starting position,
Well, for Brock, though, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, that
he's
is different.
supposed to be Denver's quarterback of the future, and now with Peyton Manning's injury again, you're talking about the possibility of him retiring. He's not somebody who I would assume would be like Brett Favre and do the 65 comebacks and play for like 30 all 32 teams and retire back with the Packers and get honored and everybody's okay with it. But that's not something I see Peyton doing. I see Peyton he knows it's his time and he's just going to bow out. Yes. 96 Bulls for the current Golden State Warriors. Take a pick.
So hard to say. I would never go against Michael Jordan. I mean, I think he's the greatest player of all time.
I don't think it's questioned.
I will say that Steph Curry is playing absolutely out of his mind right now.
Here's the only thing I have to say about the 96 Bulls versus the Golden State debacle, debate, whatever you want to call it. Who's guarding Michael? Who's guarding Scottie? Who's out-rebounding and playing a more physical game than Dennis Rodman down low? Who's stopping Tony Kukoc coming off the bench? Luke Longley, Steve Kerr, who has supposedly said in an interview that this team would beat the 96 Bulls, being that he played for one and coached for another. It's not the same game.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not the same game at all. I mean, Michael Jordan was just an absolute freak athlete, and like you just named all those other players, he had critical players around
John
him.
Sally, before his knees got bad and he became an actor.
Absolutely unreal. And Golden State, yes, they don't have that kind of depth. I mean, Steph Curry drops a cajillion points every game, and day in and day out. Then you have people like Klay Thompson and Iguodala that put up points.
Yeah, but Iguodala's not going up he's not banging with Rodman. It's not happening. I'm sorry, Dennis Rodman was part of the original Bad Boys. He's mean.
And that's why I do think that, the Bulls would win, but it's one of those scenarios. I mean, they have something like this every single year. It's like the Sixers haven't won a game yet. They're going to say, can the best college team beat the Sixers?
Watch yourself. My boy T.J. McConnell, he's getting a lot of playing time for the 76ers, and I'm just thankful that he's in the NBA, and hopefully they can find a way to win. Because the funny stat of the week is that Golden State's gone one way with the wins. Most wins to start an NBA season. And unfortunately for the city of Philadelphia, they've lost in every professional sport there is.
Yeah, last time.
Money Manziel.
Yes.
Johnny Manziel benched during the offseason, or during the bye week, sorry, offseason. Yeah. During the bye week. It's his offseason now, basically. He's gone to 4th string. But during the bye week, for being videotaped with a bottle in his hand at a club. It was not during a practice or a game week. I don't understand what the issue is here.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see an issue with it, even though you are a professional athlete. You're going to want to have days to relax. I'm sure it's strenuous going to practice day in and day out and stuff. But when you have a bye week, I expect them to, to go out and enjoy themselves, because basically as soon as the season ends, especially if you make it to the Pro Bowl and stuff, your off season starts a few months later.
Yeah.
It's like, are you supposed to try to live like a full life when you only can live like 3 months out of a whole year, like every single year?
Well, and I feel like there's a little bit of, you have the front office of Cleveland trying to push Johnny Manziel into this. Obviously, they invested so much money into him.
Yeah.
And I think you have Mike Pettin kind of looking at the front office of Cleveland and saying, no, I'm not going to play him.
I think that Manziel's the type of quarterback that he's not great, but I think
he has potential to be great.
I think he does have the potential if he gets the good weapons around him and good coach is actually willing to work with him. As far as the bottle thing, I don't expect anything less. I mean, we're talking about the same guy that had the Heisman with the blunt in the hand and stuff. I mean, we're talking about someone that's a party animal. But for some reason, Gronk gets glorified by it, and Manziel gets criticized every single time.
You know, Gronk's also the squeaky clean coming out of college. Johnny had a lot of issues, and going to rehab this summer didn't really help his case.
I do think that Manziel can go somewhere other than the worst team in the NFL and make an impact.
They're not the worst team in the NFL, because the guys they're playing tonight on Monday Night Football are the worst team in the NFL.
Hey, Tyler Castle, Browns get #1 pick next year?
No, number 2.
He says #1.
Joey Bozo, Ohio State.
Wow. And on that note, since our Ohio players have gone so well in the past, Joey Bozo going to Cleveland, where linebackers go to die.
Hey, he's kind of crushed right now. I mean, his Browns stink, his Buckeyes lost. It's a tough
it's a rough little go. But we will be back. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back, say our goodbyes, happy holidays, and all that, and that'll be right after this.
When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George. Learn the signs of a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Spot a stroke fast.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
It's so shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
The odds of winning 7 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm Toni Braxton. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And even though we have our differences,
it was fun though.
It's all in good fun. We're going to preview this weekend. A lot of activities going on. First off, as we said, the Bethany men's and women's basketball team will be in action on Saturday. Women start at 2, men start at 4. Bison pregame starts at 1:30. And then there's also
there's a play. Cloud 9 will be performed at Steinman Hall. That'll be Thursday through Saturday, which is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 8 p.m., and then Sunday the 6th at 2 p.m. So come out to Steinman Hall and watch Cloud 9.
I will definitely be there because I have an assignment due in media writing that it requires me to go.
I'll just go because I like a good play every once in a while.
I wouldn't take you as a thespian. It's a person who likes plays, I believe. Thespian? Person who likes plays?
A thespian.
Yeah, something like that.
Thespian.
Whatever. Yeah, that's you.
Well,
I wouldn't take you as
when
that.
I was in Indiana, I went and saw a ton of plays when I was in Indiana.
Oh, look at that.
Big fan of the arts.
Well, I think it's time. We'll wrap it up for the semester. It's been fun.
Dude, it's been great. I'll see you next semester. Have happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you guys. Yes. Happy holidays to you. And that's it for us. See you next semester.